Welcome to the Street Report Connection with Tommy. This video is on your tables, ladders, and your chairs pay-per-view results and the pre-show. As I'm starting off the show, they start off with Percy Watson, Cedric, Vic Joseph, and Nigel McGuinness at ringside, hyping up the kickoff match. First kickoff match, you got Cedric Alexander making his way out, and then versus Buddy Murphy as he makes his way out. Bell rings and then like up, chain holds for a minute, and we have a stalemate until in the middle of the ring. Cedric with a takedown that sends Murphy out of the ring and comes back in. But Cedric ends up nailing a drop kick to the face for a close 2 count. Murphy looks to take control, but Cedric rocks him from the apron. Cedric goes to fly in, but Murphy knocks him out of the air with a big knee. Cedric ends up on the outside again. As Murphy gets up, the screen splits with a quick promo for tonight's Raw Women's title match. Murphy keeps Cedric grounded, drives an elbow in while he's down. Murphy with a 2 count. Cedric takes Murphy into the corner, but he runs into a boot. Murphy chokes Cedric from the second rope as the referee warns him. Murphy drops Cedric to the mat. Murphy comes off the second rope, but Cedric connects with a super kick to the chest. Cedric mounts offense. Cedric with a flatliner. Cedric knocked Murphy off the apron and brings him back into the ring. Cedric with a top rope flying clothesline for a close 2 count. Murphy counters a lumbar check, but Cedric flies. Cedric blocks Murphy's law, but Murphy drops him for a close 2 count. With a handful of tights, Cedric with a Michinoku driver in the middle of the ring for another 2 count. Cedric drops Murphy with a big right hand in the middle of the ring, and then another, and the referee checks on a dazed Murphy. Murphy looks to make a comeback, but Cedric drops him again. Cedric goes to the second rope, but Murphy cuts him off. Murphy with a sit-down power bomb for a close 2 count. Murphy kicks Cedric to the apron, and it follows up. Murphy wastes time and Cedric jumps, slamming Murphy on the apron. Murphy brings him back into the ring for a close 2 count. Cedric immediately grabs him and then nails a lumbar check. But Murphy breaks up the pin with his foot on the bottom rope. Cedric can't believe it. Cedric follows Murphy to the floor and brings him back in the ring. Cedric approaches Murphy but pulls him face first into the turnbuckles. Murphy knocks Cedric down with another running knee. Murphy hits the Murphy saw in the middle of the ring for the pin to retain. And due to the fact that I was on the road, could not pull the pay-per-view up on the streaming site that I normally go to. I could not get any help from my buddy Robert, who refused to answer me. Even got up through the first part of the pay-per-view before I pulled over and actually did some more research and found a site. But after go back to the action. After the match, Murphy takes the title. As his music hits, we go to replays. Murphy sits against the ropes and stares at Cedric as he tries to recover. Back from a break, we go to Coach as the fans are finding their seats in the SAP Center. Coach and the panel talk about the Roman title match. We go to backstage with Kayla Braxton. And she talks to you about backstage with SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch. Becky admits Asuka brought the fight to her on SmackDown, but she had to because Asuka knew Becky would be knocking her head off tonight. Becky says that she will knock Flair's head off just because she's Charlotte Flair. Becky goes on and says she's changing the business. She indicates tonight TLC Triple Threat will close the show. We go back to the panel for a quick discussion on the match. Coach leads us to a new coming soon vignette for Laura Sullivan, and we get to the next match, Elias versus Bobby Lashley. It's time for this match on the kickoff. Michael Cole is at ringside. With Renee Young and Corey Graves. We see Elias' guitar hanging above the ring because this is a guitar and a pole match. Or guitar on, kind of like you got to climb the ladder to get the guitar. Well, let's start off with Lashley dropping Elias first for the guitar's significant offense. Lashley goes under the ring for a ladder, but Elias kicks it right back into him. Elias works Lashley over at ringside. Elias slides 2 ladders in the ring. Elias goes to climb one of the ladders to the guitar, but Leo Rush interferes. Elias tries to send him into the ladder, but he avoids it and goes to the floor. Lashley comes in to take advantage, but Elias drops him on a knee. Elias strikes in the corner now. Lashley counters a whip and sends Elias into the ladder that's leaning in the corner. Back first. Lashley with another shot as Elias goes down and the ladder falls on him. Lashley with a long vertical suplex. Lashley goes on and slams a ladder on Elias. We go to a break. Back from the break, Elias has turned it around. Lashley counters and launches Elias over his head into the ladder leaning in the corner. We'll get a replay as Elias lands hard. Lashley beats on Elias while he's down in the corner and places the ladder in his face. Driving into his jaw, Lashley stands another ladder up, and he looks to climb for the guitar. Elias ends up coming back and powerbombing Lashley into a ladder. Elias climbs up, but Rush meets him at the top. Elias knocks Rush to the mat, and then Elias unhooks the guitar and wins the match. After the match, Elias brings the guitar down and goes to hit Lashley with it, but Rush jumps on his back. Elias gets double teamed now. Rush goes to the top and nails the frog splash. Elias gets to his feet, but Lashley smashes the guitar over his back from behind. Lashley poses over Elias as the fans boo. Rush and Lashley celebrate as his music plays. And that ends it for the pre-show. 2018 TLC pay-per-view opens up with a video package featuring Body Talks by the Struts Band. Live from a sold-out SAP Center in San Jose, California, as Michael Colesall welcomes us to the show. He's joined in by Vic Joseph and Renee Young, same people that were on the pre-show. Mixed Match Challenge Season 2 finale. First match of the show, which I thought myself it was going to pre-show. Well, I was wrong. Can't be right all the time. Oh well. Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox versus R-Truth and Carmella. And the stipulation of this match is the male and female winners are your number 30 participants in the Royal Rumble. That is at the end of the month of January. And they also get to go on a vacation. Doesn't say for how long. We got to ring out first comes R-Truth and Carmella. They wrap together and head to the ring. Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox were out next with the Singh Brothers. Mike Rome announces the match while Vic, Cole, and Renee go over things. Truth starts off with Jinder. Back and forth to start. Jinder gets the upper hand and poses some, but it backfires. Truth with an offense and a close 2 count. More quick pin attempts and counters. Carmella and Alicia tag in next. Truth and Carmella deliver hip tosses to their opponents at the same time. They clear the ring and call for a dance break. Singh Brothers enter the ring to break the dance up, but they just end up dancing too. Truth knocks Samir Singh out of the ring and then tosses Sunil Singh. Fox comes in and goes at it with Carmella. Fox with a swinging neckbreaker for a 2 count. Fox keeps Carmella grounded on the mat. Carmella breaks it and turns things around. Fox comes right back with a knee to knock Carmella back. Fox with a Northern Light suplex for a 2 count. Fox keeps Carmella grounded in the middle of the ring for a minute or two. Truth rallies the crowd as Carmella crawls for the tag. Truth and Jinder are in now. Truth unloads and drops Jinder with a heel kick to the face. Truth places the crowd for a pop. Singh distracts Truth, but Jinder can't turn around as Fox tags herself in. Truth nails Jinder, but Fox comes in and she wants Carmella. Truth and Fox do some comedy as he upsets her. Fox kicks Truth in the gut, but he dodges the scissors kick. Carmella comes in and super kicks Fox for a close 2 count. As Jinder assisted, Truth sent Jinder to the floor and kicks him kicks him back. Carmella super kicks Singh brother, and Fox tries to take advantage but can't get the pin. More back and forth until Carmella rocks Fox into the code of silence for the win. Winners and goes on vacation are Truth and Carmella, and your number 30 participants in your Royal Rumble. After the match, Cole confirmed that Truth and Carmella will get the number 30 spots in the Royal Rumble match next year. They also receive all expense paid vacation anywhere in the world. Truth and Carmella celebrate as we go to replays. Kenneth Braxton enters the ring for an interview. Carmella is really excited. Kayla reveals earlier tonight the teams had to pick their vacation destination. Carmella didn't know about that, but R-Truth covered it for her. They are going to WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut. Truth celebrated, but Carmella doesn't look thrilled. Carmella's music starts up as they exit the ring. Triple threat match for your tag team titles. New Day versus Usos versus the Bar. By the time I got the stream going, the match had just ended. All I saw was the Bar shown getting up from the ropes, but that was it. Nothing said because the match was over. Well, they started after a break from a pay-per-view, and Tom Phillips welcomes us to ringside, joined in by Byron Saxton and Corey Graves. Out first comes the New Day, Big E, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods. All three guys. The Usos, Jimmy Uso, and Jey Uso were also out next. We see some of the international announced teams in the arena next. SmackDown Tag Team Champions, The Bar, Cesaro, and Sheamus were out last. Kofi starts off with Sheamus. Sheamus was on offense in the first pin attempt. Kofi fights up and out with a hold. They run the ropes and Sheamus catches Kofi in midair. Kofi counters that and nails a drop kick for a 2 count. Woods tags in, but they double team Sheamus and Big E looks on from the floor. The double team continues as Woods covers for a 2 count. Cesaro and Sheamus break the pin up. Usos and Kofi send Cesaro to the floor after a brawl. Jey runs the ropes for a dive, but Cesaro meets him on the apron with a big uppercut. Woods sends Cesaro down. Woods runs the ropes for a dive, but Sheamus slams him. Sheamus still can't get the pin. The Bar turns it around for a quick cheap shot as Cesaro comes in for a double team in the corner. Cesaro with a 2 count. Woods and Cesaro trade shots now. Sheamus tags in and they hit double clothesline on Woods. The Bar shows off some to get boos from the crowd. Sheamus kicks Woods down and ragdolls him some. Cesaro tags in for some more double teaming as they keep control of Woods. Woods finally gets an opening after an honor roll. Sheamus comes in and knocks the Uso off the apron. Sheamus takes Woods to the top and works him over. Woods sends Sheamus down and ends up tagging in Kofi. Cesaro tags in. Kofi unloads and keeps Cesaro down. Kofi with a boom drop in the middle of the ring. Cesaro brought some trouble in paradise. Jimmy ends up tagging in. Kofi, not legal, leaps off the top, but Cesaro catches him. Cesaro lifts Kofi for a big suplex, but Jimmy leaps off the top and brings him down for a 2 count on Cesaro. Uso with a kick to the face of Cesaro. Kofi apparently tags and covers Jimmy. Jey comes in, and Kofi takes a big super kick. Woods also takes one, as does Sheamus and Cesaro. The Usos celebrate to a pop. Kofi ducks a super kick, but gets dropped into a Samoan drop. Kofi kicks out at 2, thanks to Woods, break up. More chaos between the two teams. Or between all three teams. Cesaro saves the match. Cesaro goes on, hits a Cesaro swing on Kofi as the fans count along. Woods makes a save, but Sheamus cleans house. Sheamus waits to hit a brogue kick on Kofi, but he can't get it as Kofi rolls him up. Kofi with a stomp to the chest. Woods tags in. Woods goes to the top as Kofi hits the trouble in paradise on Sheamus. Woods with a big elbow drop on Sheamus, but Uso breaks it to pin attempt. Cesaro gets sent out to the floor with the Usos. Kofi leaps from the top and nails a big splash. All three on the outside as Big E looks on. Sheamus and Woods are the legal men in the ring. Woods brings Cesaro away from the apron. After getting the best of Sheamus, Woods enters the ropes, but he's met by a big brogue kick from Sheamus and gets a pin to retain. Winners of the match and still tag team champions on SmackDown, The Bar. We're not just The Bar. We're not above The Bar. We are The Bar. After the match, The Bar takes the titles and stand tall as the other teams recover. We go to replays as the music hits. And that's the part where I came in right there. As they were standing up, They grabbed the belts, stand up, and that was it. Back from the break, the announcers discussed Braun Strowman, Baron Corbin situation. As you know, or if you don't know, just call me brothers and sisters. That about a month ago, Braun Strowman had an elbow injury and had to have surgery on it. Well, he came out in a sling, still taped up, as it's an anything goes match. So there you go. Well, we got Heath Slater as your referee as he comes in. Baron Corbin was out first. JoJo goes over the stipulations for the match. As a constipated Constable Corbin, I call him Triple C, to become the permanent Raw General Manager if he wins, but he will lose all power if he loses. The injured Braun Strowman will receive a Royal Rumble match with WWE Universal Champion Brock Lesnar if he wins. Out first comes General Manager elect Corbin momentarily. I'll give you that. Corbin takes the mic and says he understands that there have been complaints about his job as GM. He takes these very seriously, and they don't fall on deaf ears. He listens to every fan and respects what they have to say. So here's what he has to say. Too bad. Get used to it, Corbin says after Slater counts to 10 and he wins by forfeit. He will be the new permanent GM. Corbin doesn't want to waste any more time, and he calls for the belt. Slater starts counting. Corbin makes it past halfway mark, but the music interrupts and out comes Strowman with one arm in a sling. And I told you for the last couple of weeks, he will be at the event, and I told you, even if his one arm was behind his back, he can beat him. And my prediction comes true because you're going to hear the results. Well, Strowman sets on the apron as the fans do the Get These Hands chant. Corbin tells him to bring it. Strowman says Corbin failed to realize that there are no disqualifications in the TLC matches. Strowman says it would be perfectly legal if someone wanted to help him out, like someone who's tired of working for a crappy general manager. Well, Apollo Crews appears at ringside with a steel chair. And then, coming out a few seconds later, Raw Tag Team Champions Chad Gable and Bobby Roode are also at ringside with chairs, and Corbin starts to look worried. Well, Finn Balor comes out at ringside on the stage, also with a chair, as Corbin tries to leave the ring. Balor, Crews, and Roode and Gable step up on the apron with chairs now. Corbin tells Slater to get them out of here. Fan chant for tables. Slater responds by taking off his referee shirt. As fans pop, Slater tosses it at Corbin and then drops him with a right hand. So it's not only a lumberjack match, everybody's using chairs. It's a TLC, it's legal. Everyone surrounds Corbin in the ring. Now as Strowman watches from the apron, they all take turns with the chair shots to Corbin. Corbin gets knocked out of the ring. They look on from the ring as Slater puts his referee shirt back on. Corbin backs up the ramp and wants nothing to do with this. As the match was not officially started, music interrupts as he tried to escape, and WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle comes out. Fan chant, "You suck," to his metal music. Angle grabs a chair, also from the TLC set on the stage. Corbin charges, but Angle hits him with a chair shot on his shoulder. Angle unloads with another chair shot onto his back, sending Corbin back into the ring. Roode and Gable hit double team moonsault, neck breaker combo. Crews goes up top with a frog splash. They lift Corbin, and Angle drops Corbin with an angle slam. Balor follows up with a coup de grace. Slater and Strowman have a few friendly words as Strowman walks over and puts his boot on Corbin as they ring the bell. Ding, 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 pinfall. Winner of the match, Braun Strowman. After the match, JoJo announces that Corbin is no longer the general manager of Raw. She announces Strowman as the winner, and Slater raises his arm as the music hits. Strowman and the others celebrate as Angle stares down at Corbin. And also was advertised somewhere during the pay-per-view that Vince and Kennedy McMahon will return on Raw tomorrow night. Actually, it will be tonight. By the time you watch this video, it'll already be Monday morning, anyways. Next matchup, you get tables match: Natalya versus Ruby Riott. But go back to JoJo announcing that Corbin is no longer the general manager. She announced also Strowman was the winner, and Slater raises his arm and the music plays. Strowman and the others celebrate as Angle stares down at Corbin. Back from the break, out comes Natalya first. And we see tables around the ring. Riott Squad is out next. Ruby Riott with Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan. The bell rings and Ruby taunts Natalya to start. Natalya unloads first. Logan tries to interfere from the floor, and Natalya fights her off. Then taking Riott to the corner, Liv grabbed Natalya's leg from the floor, allowing Riott to get the upper hand in the ring. They go at it on the floor as Natalya slams Ruby's face into the table. I was predicting Natalya to win this match. Anyways, I thought they were going to escort Liv and Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan to the back, but that didn't happen. But stay tuned for your results, and you're going to hear it here. Well, as Natalya fights her off, then taking Riott to the corner, Liv grabbed Natalya's leg from the floor, allowing Riott to get her upper hand in the ring. They go to the floor, and Natalya rams Ruby's face into a table. Natalya goes on and tries to suplex Riott from the apron to a table on the floor, but she can't get it. Natalya runs the ropes, and Liv takes a bullet for Ruby as Natalya spears Liv off the apron through the table on the floor. Logan and Ruby check on Liv now. Officials also come down to check her out, take her to the back. Ruby comes back in, and Natalya takes control, hitting a German suplex. Logan tries to interfere, but Natalya knocks her back into the barrier. Natalya works Riott over on the floor, and then Natalya talks trash and calls Riott a B word, then slaps her in the face. Natalya positions a table on the floor. Natalya tries to powerbomb Ruby through the table, but she can't hit it. Logan interferes again, and that leads Natalya power slamming her through a table. And Natalya yells at Logan to stay down now. So both of those girls are out. So it's one-on-one now. Stay tuned. Riott takes advantage of Natalya dealing with Logan, sending her face first into the apron. Riott has a table with the Jim the Anvil Neidhart on it now, pressing Natalya's face into it and talking trash about how he was ashamed of Natalya. Riott whips Natalya into the steel ring steps. More back and forth in the ring now. The Anvil table is leaning in the corner, but they both avoid it. Natalya with a sharpshooter now, with Riott facing the table in the corner. Riott pulls the table over, and it hits Natalya in the back of the head, breaking the sharpshooter hold. Riott goes to the floor for a breather. Riott returns to the ring, stands on the anvil, the anvil table up. Natalya powers up and slams Riott from an electric chair position. The table was tipped over. Natalya yells at Ruby and brings her back in from the floor. Natalya goes under the ring and brings her own table out. But guess what? This one's got a graphic of Ruby on it. Oh, she's like, oh, did I bring that out? She smiles at the fans pop. Natalya brings the table into the ring as Riott recovers. Natalya puts a jacket that belonged to her dad, as everything that Ruby stole previously, she got back. She puts it on and returns to the ring and kicks Riott in the face. Natalya is moving slow, but she finally gets the table stood up. Natalya blocks the Riott kick, but Ruby manages to drop her anyways. Riott places Natalya on the table that has her photo on it. Riott goes to the top, but Natalya cuts her off, slams her to the mat. Natalya works Riott over and places her on top of the table. Talking trash in her face, Natalya goes back up top, but she wastes time and Ruby cuts her off. Riott climbs to the top and tries to hurricane around Natalya through the table, but it's blocked. Natalya powers up and puts Riott through the table with a power bomb for the win. So Natalya won the match as I predicted. After the match, Natalya poses in the middle ring as her music hits. She grabs a part of the table with Ruby's photo on it and raises it in the air as we go to replays. Natalya puts on her dad's glasses and continues the celebration. Now, wasn't they broken when Ruby stole them a couple of weeks ago? Back from a break, we get a Lars Sullivan coming soon vignette again. Next match, you got Finn Balor versus Drew McIntyre. We go to the ring, and out first comes Drew. Finn was out next. The bell rings, and Drew takes it to the corner, but backs off. Balor with a big chop, but Drew tosses him in the corner and unloads. Drew drops Balor with a chop and talks some trash. Drew stomps now. Balor fights back with a kick, but Drew turns it right back around and takes him back to the corner. Drew with more offense before taking Balor back up top and talking more trash, which backfires. Balor drops Drew near the corner and goes to work. Balor goes to the top, and Drew cuts him off. Drew tosses Balor across the ring with a belly-to-belly suplex. And now's the point to how Drew's knee went out on the throw. They did a replay of it, and guess what? There was no part of that. And by the way, remember this past week when Dolph helped Balor win his match on Raw? Did you get this match? Well, this match was set up tomorrow night. Dolph Ziggler versus Finn Balor, which we'll find out right after this. It's a fan chant for Balor as he tries to mount offense, but Drew tries to shut him back down. Drew with a boot to the chest for another big throw across the ring. Drew with a 2 count. Drew keeps Balor grounded again and works on his arm. Drew then brings Balor up and drops him again. Drew powers up with a big suplex and another 2 count. Drew keeps Balor down by his arm and taunting him. Balor finally turns around and stomps on Drew's chest. Balor with a big chop in the corner. Drew catches Balor in a side slam attempt, but Balor turns it into a DDT. Balor clotheslines Drew over the top rope to the floor. Balor runs the ropes and leaps out, taking Drew back down. Balor brings him back in the ring, hits a sling blade. Drew comes back and hits a tilt-the-world backbreaker for a 2 count. Drew talks more trash, saying Balor and Dolph Ziggler are worthless to him. Balor counters the move for a 2 count. Balor drops Drew with a kick from the apron. Balor goes to the top for the coup de grace, but Drew cuts him off again. Drew with a big chop while Balor is up top. Drew climbs up and drives Balor down from the second rope. Balor still kicks out at 2, and Drew can't believe it. Balor gets dumped to the floor, but he comes back to trap Drew in the ring apron, beating on him. Drew catches Balor and sends him into the apron face first. Drew smiles at Balor and drops him with a glass cow kick headbutt. Drew poses at ringside while keeping Balor down. Drew tosses Balor back in the ring, and the referee checks on him. Ziggler comes from behind, out of the crowd, and drops Drew at ringside with a super kick. Ziggler brings a steel chair over, but Drew kicks it into his face. Drew rolls Ziggler into the ring, and the referee tells him not to bring the chair in. Drew brings it in, and Balor kicks it right back into him. Balor goes to the top, hits coup de grace on Drew for the pinfall, and he won the match. After the match, Balor starts celebrating as his music hits. He leaves the ring, and Drew recovers and wants to go after him. We see Ziggler getting up at ringside as well. We go to replays, and Ziggler stares Balor down to end the segment. Chairs match was up next. Randy Orton versus Rey Mysterio. Back from the break, we see chairs surrounding the ring. Rey Mysterio is out first as Greg Hamilton does the introductions. Tom shows us the other international announced teams in the arena. Randy Orton was out next. The bell rings, and Orton takes control, tossing Rey out of the ring. Orton follows and grabs a steel chair, but Rey kicks him. Rey strikes first with a chair, hitting Orton in the gut. Rey swings again. Orton returns to the ring and follows with a chair shot to the back. Then another to the gut. Rey unloads with more chair shots as Orton goes down in the corner. Rey brings another chair in the ring and stands it up. Rey leaps off that chair with another, but Orton moves. Rey lands on the turnbuckles and puts the brakes on. Orton nails Rey and turns it upside down in the corner for the Tree of Woe. Orton keeps control and takes Rey to the apron. Orton tries to suplex Rey, but Rey knees him in the head. Rey strikes knocking Orton off the apron, causing him to hit face first. Orton falls to the floor. Ray runs the ropes and slides under the bottom rope, splashing Orton baseball surfboard style with his belly on it, right on top of him for a splash with the chair on the floor. Cool move, the crowd pops. Ray with a chair shot over the back. Ray works Orton over and knocks him into a chair. Ray runs the apron for a seated senton into the chair, but Orton moved and Ray crashed hard into the chair. Orton with a chair shot to Ray. Orton takes apart the announce table now. Orton places a chair on top of the table as they're outside on the floor. Orton grabs Ray and slams him face first onto the chair on top of the table. Orton takes his time and puts more chairs into the ring. Orton rolls Ray in and follows up, covering him for a 2 count. Orton then wedges the chair in the corner and goes to put Ray into it, but Ray sends him into it face first. Orton comes right back with a power slam for a 2 count. Power slam. Scoop slam. Ray blocks the second rope draping DDT, goes for the 619, but Orton avoids it. Ray drops Orton from the apron. Ray springboards in from the top, but Orton throws a chair at him, hitting him in the legs. Orton covers for a 2 count. Orton wedges another chair into the corner now, this time between the middle and the bottom and the middle turnbuckles. Ray comes back and drops Orton with a chair shot, and then nails the 619. Ray goes up top, but Orton jumps up and crotches him. No selling the chair shot. Orton slams Ray's face into the wedge chair twice, and Ray hangs upside down on the top. Orton has 4 chairs lined up in the middle ring now, all lined up. Orton looks to hit the RKO onto the line of chairs, but Ray kicks him away. Ray sends Orton into the chair's face first, causing him to sit upright on one of them. Ray leaps at Orton and takes him down with his legs, turning that into a 2 count for the pin, into the 3 count for the pin and the win. It's like a surprise. I got the pinfall. After the match, Ray quickly retreats to the stage as his music hits. We got a replay as Orton stares Ray down from the ring. Surprise! So, really? We go to the stage, and the way it looked like more like a schoolboy roll-up on top of the chair. We go backstage to Finn Balor for an interview. Balor isn't happy about Dolph Ziggler interfering in his win over Drew McIntyre. Ziggler appears out of nowhere and they have words. Balor tells Ziggler to keep his nose out of his business next time. Ziggler says Balor was lucky he was there. Ziggler attacked to drop Balor, then sent him to a stack of production cases. The announcers lead us to a video package for tonight's Raw Women's title match, which is Nia Jax versus Ronda Rousey, with Tamina in her corner. And she gets involved too. We go to the ring, and out first comes Nia Jax with Tamina Snuka. The Raw Women's Champion Rousey without next. We get formal ring introductions from JoJo. The bell rings and they lock up. Jax powers up and tosses Rousey back into the corner by her neck. Well, she's a big girl, so she got more weight on her. Rousey with some jabs and a smile. Rousey bounces around and ducks a charge. Jax chases Rousey and sends her into the corner. Rousey comes out with kicks. Rousey brings Jax down with a knee, but Jax catches her. Jax threatens Rousey with a right hand, but Rousey rolls her into an arm submission. Rousey then turns that. But Jax powers up with a sit-down power bomb for a 2 count. Jax launches Rousey across the ring and smashes her in the corner. Jax sends Rousey back to the mat and drops an elbow for a quick 1 count. Jax bullies Rousey around and takes her time. Jax sends Rousey into another corner, hitting her shoulder on the ring post. Fans boo as Jax stands tall. Jax charges in the corner and sends the shoulder into the ring post. Jax keeps control for a moment and goes for the leg drop, but Rousey moves out of the way and she busts her butt on the mat. Rousey jumps up, tries to bring Jax down with a submission, but Jax overpowers. Rousey counters and jumps on Jax's back with a sleeper attempt. They tangle to the mat and end up going to the floor as Jax launches Rousey into the barrier to finally get some separation. And Snuka is applauding Jax. Jax brings Rousey back in the ring and covers for a 2 count. Jax keeps Rousey grounded in the middle of the ring. Rousey fights up and out, but Jax stops her with a kick. Rousey counters a powerbomb attempt and sends Jax across the ring. Jax then goes shoulder first into the corner and falls out to the floor for a breather. Rousey goes to the top, another crossbody on the floor, and then brings it back in the ring for a 2 count. Rousey bounces around, looks to put Jax away. Rousey ends up connecting with a big setup right hand for a close 2 count. Rousey goes back up for another crossbody, but Jax rolls through and powers up with a big Samoan drop. Rousey kicks out at 2. Just in time, Jax can't believe it. Jax keeps control and sends Rousey into the corner for a splash. Jax scoops Rousey on her shoulders, taking her to the second rope for a super Samoan drop. Rousey with elbows to the face. While she's up high, Rousey slides out and goes for the powerbomb from the second rope. She nails it, but Jax kicks out at 2. Rousey goes over and tries for an armbar, but Jax resists. Snuka gets on the apron to distract Rousey, and Rousey reaches her, but Jax attacks from behind. Jax misses her big right hand. Rousey climbs Jax's body again, brings her down into an armbar. Jax continues to resist the hold. Rousey turns to Snuka and taunts her while tightening the armbar on Jax. Rousey kisses Jax face breaker and drops her into the armbar. Taps out. Remember to call it? Kiss her fist, and puts her in an armbar. Taps out. Winner is still champion Ronda Rousey. After the match, Jax quickly retreats and leaves to the back with Snuka. And she takes the title and celebrates in the corner as the music plays. We go to replays. Back from a break as the cameras catch SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch approaching Nia backstage. Becky asks Jax, who is still recovering from the loss to Rousey, if she remembers all that stuff about breaking her face. As I was driving, I missed that little segment. Becky kicks Jax in the gut and drops her with a punch. Becky walks off. Tamina Snuka comes running up, but she's too late. Announces lead us to a video package for tonight's WWE title match. Kayla Braxton backstage with AJ Styles. Styles says that there's no difference between new Daniel Bryan and the old Daniel Bryan because both of them are beatable. AJ goes on and says he's played Bryan's game now. Bryan will play his. We go to the ring. Out first comes AJ. Daniel Bryan was out next. We get formal ring introductions from Greg Hamilton. The bell rings and they size each other up. Bryan immediately rolls to the floor for some booze. Bryan jogs a bit at ringside as the referee counts. Bryan returns to the ring and fans do some dueling chants. Bryan goes back to the floor to stall, laughing and raises his arms about as the crowd boos. Bryan returns to the ring as the dueling chants pick up for the crowd again. They lock up and go to the corner. AJ ducks a cheap shot and chops Bryan. AJ unloads out of the corner, taking Bryan to another corner. Bryan takes AJ down, but AJ comes right back and gets the upper hand. Bryan avoids a drop kick, but AJ comes right back and connects with a drop kick. AJ sends Bryan out of the ring now as the referee counts. And I was predicting Daniel Bryan to retain, but in a fashion not the way he won it. Won the match, but stay tuned for the results. Well, AJ launches himself over the top, but Bryan kicks him on the way down. Bryan sends AJ's ribs into the barrier. Bryan brings him back in the ring and delivers a kick to the corner. Bryan whips AJ and drops him with another knee to the gut. Bryan puts knees to the back and manhandles AJ while he's down on the mat. Bryan drives more knees into AJ. Bryan bends AJ over his knees in a modified surfboard. Bryan backs off and delivers a headbutt. Bryan with some trash talking and a big chop in the corner, and then another. AJ turns it around with chops of his own in the corner. Bryan works on the neck and keeps control of AJ while AJ is upside down with the tree of woe. Bryan knocks AJ back with an uppercut and talks more trash. Bryan with kicks again on the ropes. And the more gathers kicks, remember? sending AJ back out of the ring. AJ returns to the ring and fights Bryan back into a corner. AJ unloads and Bryan comes back with a kick to the gut. More back and forth. Bryan sends AJ face first into the turnbuckles with a drop toe hold. Bryan with corner drop kicks. AJ clothesline to block the second attempt. Coming out of the corner, the referee counts as they are both down. AJ unloads and gets up first, beating Bryan around the ring. Now as AJ beats Bryan down to the corner as the referee warns him, but has to pull him away. AJ with strikes. Bryan blocks, but AJ drops him for a 2 count. AJ mounts Bryan now. Bryan rolls and avoids the Styles Clash attempt. AJ follows and sends Bryan into the ring post twice. Referee counts and AJ brings it back in at the 6 count. Bryan pleads from his knees now. AJ stalks him. AJ backs Bryan in the corner. Bryan charges him, but AJ drops his neck over the knee. AJ with a 2 count. AJ goes for the reverse moonsault DDT from the corner, but it's blocked. Bryan with several knee strikes to the face. Bryan with a German suplex for a 2 count. Bryan with kicks while AJ is on his knees. The last kick levels AJ for a 2 count. They go back and forth. AJ springboards in with a forearm, but can't hit it. Bryan with a dragon screw. AJ ends up slamming Bryan's leg around the ring post several times. Bryan comes right back with an enziguri and more strikes in the corner as the referee counts. Bryan takes it to the top for Hurricanrana, but it's countered. Bryan avoids the Styles Clash again. This leads to AJ applying a half crab submission, working on the knee and trying to make Bryan tap as he crawls for the bottom rope. AJ repositions, but Bryan ends up applying the label lock, as it's called. Used to be called the Borgasm lock, as I call it. The yes lock. But the yes movement's dead, so they explained it. LaBelle Lock is his wife's name. LaBelle. Bella. LaBelle. AJ resists, but Bryan tightens it. They break and trade holds, both going down after a Pele kick. Well, enziguri kick from Bryan, and then a Pele kick from AJ. No selling each other's kicks. Fan chant, this is awesome now. The referee counts both of them down. They both are up, trade shots in the middle of the ring. The fans count along with them. Bryan kicks AJ back to the corner. Bryan charges from the opposite corner, but AJ drop kicks him. AJ ends up springboarding in with the big 450, but Bryan somehow kicks out a 2. AJ ends up applying the calf crusher now as Bryan is facing in the middle of the ring. Bryan looks towards the bottom rope, and he finally makes it. Bryan rolls to the floor and clutches his knee. Fan chant, this is awesome now. Bryan rolls back to the floor for a breather and sells a leg injury. AJ follows, but Bryan decks him. Bryan sends AJ into the barrier, but he jumps over into the timekeeper's area. AJ with a forearm off the barrier, and then flies over the barrier and rocks AJ again. AJ brings it back in at the 7 count. AJ waits and calls for the phenomenal forearm, which he did that on the barrier. Then almost ran into the referee, but he put the brakes on, didn't hit the referee as Bryan goes under. They trade pin attempts and a reversal as both guys' shoulders were down, but they say AJ had his shoulders up and Bryan gets a pinfall win. They said that AJ had his shoulders down, so that's how they do it. Controversial finish. Both guys had his shoulders down, double pinfall. After the match, Bryan music hits as quickly makes his exit with the title as AJ looks on. Back for the break, Ronda Rousey and Natalya were backstage for an interview. Rousey is asked about Charlotte Flair. Rousey says payback is a B word, and she's the baddest B word on the planet. She walks off. Finn Balor vs. Dolph Ziggler was announced for Raw, as I told you earlier. We get a video package showing what has happened with Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Since Roman Reigns has announced his battle with leukemia and had to basically retire for now. Intercontinental title match, Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. We go to ring out first because Dean Ambrose first. Intercontinental champion Seth Rollins was out next. And by the way, if you listen to this, most of the winners of the match were the first ones to come out. We go to ring out first comes Dean Ambrose. Intercontinental champion Seth Rollins falls out next. We get formal ring introductions from JoJo. The bell rings and they have words in the middle of the ring. As the burn it down chant from the crowd starts up, Ambrose turns away from Rollins. Rollins munches him and yells at him to get it going. They go at it, go to the ropes, and the referee counts. Rollins backs off, they trade strikes, and Rollins gets the upper hand now, working Ambrose around the ring and into the corners. Ambrose fights out of a corner and unloads. Ambrose sends Rollins to the apron, but he thrusts and flies back in with a clothesline. Rollins with shots in the corner again. Ambrose retreats to the floor for a breather. Rollins follows and charges, but Ambrose catches him, dropping him face first into the announce table. Ambrose brings him back in and works Rollins over on the mat. Ambrose with a 2 count. Ambrose uses the middle rope as the referee warns him. Ambrose with a suplex for another 2 count. Ambrose keeps Rollins grounded in the middle of the ring. Ambrose ends up coming off the second rope with a big shot, but Rollins kicked out at 2. Ambrose with another quick pin attempt. Ambrose puts a knee to Rollins' back and keeps him grounded. Ambrose continues to dominate with offense, including a shot from the second rope and a stiff clothesline. Ambrose goes to the second rope for an axe handle, but Rollins decks him on the way down. Ambrose counters with a neck breaker for a 2 count, and then another, and then a third. Ambrose shows some frustration. Rollins finally looks to mount some offense, but Ambrose kicks out after a pinfall attempt. Rollins sends Ambrose into the turnbuckles. Ambrose with a big shot to the leg and the knee. Ambrose with a cloverleaf submission in the middle of the ring. Rollins finally makes it to the bottom rope to break the hold. Rollins falls out of the ring to the floor for a breather. Ambrose walks around the ring to some booze. Ambrose picks Rollins up on the apron and talks some trash, but Rollins drops him over the top rope. Rollins ends up going for a suicide dive, but Ambrose rocks him on the ropes. Ambrose comes in, but Rollins nails a sling blade. Rollins with a blockbuster. Now, as he sells the injured leg, Rollins clotheslines Ambrose over the top rope to the floor. Rollins runs the ropes and nails a suicide dive, sending Ambrose into the barrier. Rollins nails a second suicide dive, but he stays down and clutches his knee. Rollins goes to the top, but Ambrose cuts him off. Ambrose climbs up for a superplex, taunting the fans for booze. Rollins resists and headbutts Ambrose up high. Rollins goes for the sunset flip powerbomb, but his knee goes out as he falls down. Rollins gets back up and nails a buckle bomb across the ring. Ambrose kicks out of 2. More back and forth between the two now. They collide in the middle of the ring, and they both go down. They trade strikes in the middle of the ring now, unloading. Rollins with a headbutt and a big kick. Ambrose avoids the shot and slams Rollins with a face buster for a 2 count. Ambrose climbs up top, but Rollins runs up, slipping on the way up. Ambrose counters and crosses Rollins over the top. Ambrose sends Rollins to the mat and covers for a pin attempt. Ambrose with more trash talking. Rollins blocks dirty deeds and allowed "This is boring" chant starts up for the crowd. Ambrose mocks Rollins' curb stomp and goes for it, but Rollins nails an enziguri. Rollins with a ripcord knee for a 2 count. Rollins goes to the top for a frog splash, but Ambrose gets his knees up. Ambrose with a 2 count. More back and forth. Ambrose goes to the top, but Rollins rolls up and brings him down with a suplex. Rollins holds it and hits the Falcon Arrow for a 2 count. Rollins drops Ambrose back to the mat, talking trash and knocking him back again. Rollins goes for a kick, but Ambrose stops him and puts his fist out for the Shield style pump, like he's giving up. Be a friend match. Oh, Rollins looks at his fist, thinks about it. Rollins knocks the fist away, drops Ambrose. Rollins charges and they go to the floor as Rollins snaps a bit. Rollins sends Ambrose into the barrier, then goes for the powerbomb into the barrier, and he nails it. Rollins returns to the ring as the referee counts. Rollins brings Ambrose back into the ring. Rollins grabs Ambrose's face and says he didn't want it to come to this. Rollins goes on talking and says, "This is for Roman Reigns." He slaps Ambrose. Rollins goes for a stomp, but Ambrose grabs him out of nowhere and nails Dirty Deeds. Ambrose covers for the pin to win the title. And winner and new Intercontinental Champion Dean Ambrose. After the match, Ambrose takes the title and stumbles away as the music hits. Rollins looks to be shocked. As we get a replay, Ambrose stumbles away from the ring with the title as the crowd is still out of it. Back for the break, we see some of the NFL San Francisco 49ers at ringside, including Earl Mitchell with his custom Connors Care cleats. We get a video package for tonight's main event, triple threat for SmackDown Women's title. Asuka versus Charlotte versus Becky Lynch. I didn't have an opinion for this match. And this was a surprising match. We go to the ring for tonight's main event, and out first comes Asuka. So guess what? Whoever comes out first wins most of the matches tonight. Charlotte was out next, followed by SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch. We get formal introductions from Greg Hamilton as the title is raised above the ring. There are tables, ladders, and chairs all around on the outside. The bell rings and Flair argues with Lynch. Asuka drop kicks Becky. They all go at it, with Asuka getting an upper hand and standing tall for a pop. Asuka with a hip attacks both opponents in the corners. Becky catches Asuka and unloads on her, yelling out for a pop. Becky with more strikes on Asuka in the corner. Becky launched Asuka across the ring. Flair missed a big boot as Becky dodged it. Becky unloads on Flair. Flair catches Becky with an overhead throw. Flair delivers a woo and looks up at the title. Asuka tries to bring a ladder in, but Flair kicks her back. Becky tries to bring a table in, but Flair stops her next, sending her down on the outside. Flair leaves the table in the corner and slams Asuka's head into it several times. Flair stomps away, and Becky brings the ladder in. Flair gets the upper hand on Becky. Also, Flair ends up going for a spear on Asuka, but she counters for a big shot. Becky pushes the ladder over at Asuka, but Asuka moved. Asuka takes Becky to the top and rocks her with strikes. Asuka launched Becky from the top down to a ladder. Becky landed hard on the steel on her back, and Asuka laughed. Becky rolls around in pain. Asuka pushes her to the ladder as she is the only one standing in the ring. Becky and Flair are down on the outside. Asuka climbs up for the title, but Flair climbs up. Actually, makes it in the ring and slams her head into the steel of the ladder. Asuka goes down. Flair climbs up for the title, but Asuka pulls her back down. Flair tosses Asuka out to the apron. Flair climbs the ladder again, but Asuka comes back over, and Asuka powerbombs Flair from the ladder through the leaning table in the corner. A referee checks on Flair. Asuka slowly moves for the title, but Becky flies and knocks her off the ladder. Asuka ends up knocking Becky to the floor with a hip attack. Flair with a chair shot to Asuka's back while she's against the ropes. From the hip attack, Flair goes to the top and hits the big moonsault to the floor, taking down Asuka and Becky at the same time. Flair positions a table at ringside, but Becky comes from behind and unloads with a chair shot. Becky takes turn beating on Asuka and Flair with the chair now. Fans cheer her on. Flair kicks the chair from Becky's hands and sends her into the barrier. Becky goes back down. Flair takes apart the German announce table. Now Asuka is placed on top of the table, but Becky drops Flair for chair shots. Becky then positions one of the extra tall ladders at ringside. She stops to stomp on Flair. Becky positions Flair and Asuka side by side on the German announce table. Becky climbs the tall ladder as the fans chant for her. Becky leaps out and lands rear first on Flair's gut. Asuka moved out of the way to avoid the move. Flair clutches her ribs and rolls over in pain. Becky is also down. Asuka makes her way into the ring and slowly comes up the ladder for the title. Becky runs in and climbs up the other side. They meet at the top of the ladder. Asuka grabs for the title, but Becky rocks her. Flair comes in and hits Asuka in the back with the kendo stick. Then Flair shoves Becky away and unloads on Asuka with a stick. So you got tables, ladders, chairs, and kendo sticks in this match. Now Flair shoves Becky away and unloads on Asuka with the stick. Flair with more strikes from the kendo stick while Becky is down on the outside. Flair sends Asuka out of the ring now. Flair follows with a kendo stick shot and screams out about how the title is hers. Becky comes over and nails a big exploder against the table against the barrier on Flair. Asuka unloads on Becky with kendo stick shots. Flair runs over with force and sends Asuka into the barrier with a spear, causing the barrier to break. Fan chant, "This is awesome." Now, Becky takes advantage and climbs the ladder for the title as the fans pop. Flair runs in and pulls her off. Flair and Lynch stare each other down and have words. Flair and Lynch then trade shots around the ring. Becky sends Flair face first into the ladder, and it goes down. Becky tackles Flair and mounts her with strikes. They roll to the floor, and Flair chops Becky many times. Becky goes down. Flair positions Becky on top of a table, still talking trash. Flair goes to the top and hits a huge flip, putting Becky through a table on the floor. We get a replay of that. Flair returns to the ring and climbs the ladder. She gets to the top, but Asuka appears from the top of the area and meets Flair at the top. Flair tries to bring the title down. They trade shots at the top. Flair slams Asuka's face first into the steel of the ladder. Becky brings another ladder in, standing it right next to the other ladder while the fight is happening on top. Flair knocks Asuka down to the mat. Becky climbs up her ladder. Flair moves over to that ladder. They trade shots at the top. As the belt is hanging above the other ladder, both unable to reach the title now, Ronda Rousey comes marching to the ring. Rousey pushes the ladder with both Flair and Becky over. Fans are booing this. Becky and Flair end up on the floor. Rousey marches right back to the back at the same time. Well, Asuka takes advantage and climbs the ladder now. Asuka stands up and pulls the title, stands up on top and pulls the title down, and winner and new champion, Asuka, the SmackDown champion. After the match, Asuka celebrates with the title as Flair and Lynch look on from the floor. Disgusted. We go to replays. TLC goes off the air with Asuka raising the title in the air while Flair and Lynch trade shots, trade looks. Which was my surprise. There you go. And that concludes my video for this pay-per-view. See what I want to be. If you don't know, just call me, brothers and sisters.